First question, Jesse.
Coach, you said yesterday, after game one, that there were some things you guys needed to clean up. Obviously, 7 goals in the first game, 2 goals against in this one. You got to be pretty happy with the details you guys, fine-tuned.
Yeah, I thought second and because those details mostly for us after game one having success on the offensive side were defensive details, right? And I didn't love them in the first. I mean, you saw some of the chances. Like, we got beat to the net in the D zone a couple times. We got beat to the net off the rush a couple times, and that's how they created their scoring chances. And it's really that simple. Like, when you tighten the gap on a guy, you got to beat him back to the net. And D zone, if you go finish a guy in the corner and they move it someplace, you got to at least beat him back to the net and then adjust from there within the structure of our game, right? So we have our details that we talk about when it comes to that. And first period we weren't great, but Gorgie was excellent. And then in the second and third, we got better and better. As I thought the second period we were really good on the defensive side of it. We continued to push offensively. Goals were harder to come by tonight than the other night for both teams. So no question there was improvement there. Yeah.
Sean.
To build on that point, before the series, you said if you're going to succeed, you need to get to a more defensive game. A lot of people would say in game one, the Jets out-av'd the Avs. What details can you share, especially in that third period, about how tonight the Avs out-Jets the Jets?
I'm not going to go into specifics, but at the end of the day, it's like defending is hard work. It's commitment. It's like they know us and we know them, right? So there's certain things that regardless of who you're playing, like a couple of the things I just touched on, getting beat back to the net, making sure we're physical enough, that we're winning enough races, enough battles, details within our defensive zone coverage. It can't be a sometimes thing. It's got to be an all-the-time thing, right? You're still going to make some mistakes, and you need other guys to cover up those mistakes, and we didn't do a great job of that at times. For the most part, our puck management throughout both of these games has been okay, right? It's making sure that we're defending with enough importance that we can get going on the offensive side of things. And, we found over the course of this year, last year, multiple years with the bulk of our core together, the better that we defend, the more offense that we create. And it's not always the case, but I think we have to put, this time of year, you can't make structural mistakes and get beat in certain areas, because it's going to lead to scoring chances against, just because of the intensity of the game and the way other teams are playing and how quickly they can get on the attack. And tonight we were certainly much better than the other night. We can still make improvements on what we did tonight as well.
Go ahead, and then Tracy.
What was it like seeing Zach Parise score that game-winning goal, and could you just take us through what kind of impact he's had on your team as a veteran addition?
He's been fantastic for us. It just, we talked about motivation for our team. This is a guy that's come out of retirement. That he had multiple options on teams where he could go. He decided to come to us. We love to win for him, and he plays the game the right way. He's committed on both sides of the puck. He's been chipping in on the defensive side, offensive side. He plays a little PK. He plays a little power play, and to see him. He's excited about these playoffs, right? He's really excited and about the opportunity that's in front of us. And, to see him score that goal and watch that forecheck and then get it, and he gets rewarded for his hard work, that's the type of stuff that can get contagious in a locker room. Our guys are always excited for their teammates when they have success or score or make big plays defensively. But for a guy like Zach, I think it's even a little bit more so, because we know that he's an aging player, and he's a guy that's taking one of his last kicks at the can to try and raise the Stanley Cup, and we'd love to be able to help him do that.
Tracy, then Eric.
With Arturi Lehkonen, what is it about him that he just finds a way to always be there in the clutch for you guys?
It's this guy's he's a competitive guy, right? And when you talk about, all around good players that play the game the right way, and it's not always showing up on the stat sheet for a guy like Lucky. I can pick guys around the league that I'm a big fan of the way they play, and for multiple reasons, and he's one of them. Like, it's just, when you do the right things all the time, day after day, practice games, and you're an intense competitor, like it's going to pay off for you at some point. And I feel like we've seen that out of Lecky. Big moments, just doing the right thing, competing hard, great detail to his game, a high level of skill and ability. That's all you can ask for from a player. He's never going to shortchange you on his effort, his competitiveness, the work he puts into the game. He's one of those guys that's a coach's dream. I'm sure the Jets have their guys that they like. We have ours. Like, every team will have specific players that are just easy to coach and love coming to the rink, and competing is a big part of that. And that's what he gives you on a nightly basis.
Eric.
You're going back home 1-1. What's made you so formidable in that building this year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, like, I do know this. Like, our fans and our building, over the course of my time in Denver, have been phenomenal. And through the regular season, like, I can't remember the number that we're at now, but it's 100 plus sellouts in a row. And our fans are diehard fans, and they love our team. I think they have a really good understanding of what our guys pour into every season. We've had some success. They can appreciate the work that we put in and the desire that we have to win in front of them, and they've helped us get there. Like, we've been a really good home team this year, and our fans and the city of Denver have supported us. I think our guys understand that. They want to come out on the ice every time and put their best foot forward and put on a show and be entertaining and play the right way. And so besides, like, just being at home and having the rest that you want, and being at home with your families and friends and enjoying the city of Denver, it's a little bit more than that because of the support we get. And I think our guys really understand that truly deeply in their heart, that we have to put our best foot forward and reward our fans for supporting us. And they've done a nice job of it. And I think the city recognizes that. So it's a fun place to play. And this was a great environment, like one of the best I've been in. And I know our building's going to be rocking when we get back home.
Judy, then Evan.
Do you have an update on Sean Walker?
Yeah, he's fine. Completely fine.
I know
Evan?
we've talked about Caleb Jones a few times through the year, but he and Kiviranta didn't play a ton down the stretch. What
Yeah.
can you say about guys like that hit the ground running in the playoffs, keep themselves ready, and how big are they at this time
Yeah,
of year?
dedicated, right? We talk about depth. I mean, those guys have been dedicated. They've had great, like, both those guys are attitudes. When you play limited minutes and a limited role on a team, you have to adjust year to year depending on what your role is on any team, right? And those guys have done a nice job focusing in on what they need to do to have success, what their role is, not trying to do too much, but still not trying to do too little in games, like not being too safe. And Kivy, like, with the depth that we added at the deadline, is he's been in and out of the lineup. His role changes. We get the injury to Drouin, but, like, you look at his game over the last 6 weeks, right? It's difficult to stay in the moment and, like, bring your best when you're in and out and you don't really know what it is. We've tried to do a good job communicating as a staff on what we need from him when he's in. And, he's been outstanding in this series so far for me, like jumping in on the third line, on the Colton Wood line, and they've been impactful. And Jonesy, same thing. Like, he continues to work. He likes the he understands that he's got to stay game ready. Lots of practice time for him, lots of extra work with the goalies, with the team, and then staying out before and after to try and stay sharp as he can. He clearly has a really nice skill set and ability to help us. We've been a deep team on the back end. We've been relatively healthy at times this year, but now he jumps in for Gerard, and he's done a nice job. So it's all you can ask is those guys. I get it's hard to scratch them and keep them out of the lineup at times, but you're going to play what you feel is the best lineup on any given night. They understand that, and they're bought in, and those guys are giving it everything they can to try and help our team win. And so great teammates, both of them.
Last three, Kyle.
We had a chance to catch up with Georgiev a moment ago, and he told us how he visualized having success tonight and altering his morning skate routine a little bit to have that clear head. Are you just impressed with the way that he was able to rebound and really give you guys a solid night?
Fantastic. Hey, listen, when you, more so than any other player on your team, the goalie and some of your stars, like when things go well, they're going to get the credit. And when things go poorly, they're going to take a lot of the blame, right? Like it is what it is. It's, and nobody's perfect, but you can imagine coming in here, not having a good night as a team, not having a good night on the defensive side, and if you give up 7 as a goalie, like what type of things you're reading online, what you're hearing from everyone. Everyone just goes immediately to doubt and criticism, and so to be able to sort of put that aside, focus on his process just like we would with the team, be mentally strong, resilient, and then go out and prove people wrong in game 2. That's a tough job to do, because you are the last line of defense. You are every 50% of the questions I've had over the last 3 days through 3 media availabilities are going to be about Gorgie, right? But to be able to fight through that, get focused in on what he needs to do, I thought he was outstanding, and he deserves all the credit, because our team was better, but it wasn't that much better. But he was much better, and he gave us a chance to win, and we did win, and now we got to go repeat it, and we still feel like whether it's Gorgie or team, whatever, we're going to push to try and be as close to perfect as possible without being uptight about it, right? Like being able to move on after mistakes and keep playing, because again, the only score that matters is the one at the end of the game, and I think he really kind of was able to put that early goal behind him, stay focused on what he needed to do. I give him all the credit in the world. That's not easy, and our team's in full support of what he's capable of doing and what we think he can do.
Finish with Megan.
What is the relationship between how your team defends within their structure and when Georgiev's seeing the puck well and swallowing pucks? Do you ever see them stray from their structure or overcompensate in any way?
No, I don't, and we don't want them to. Like, I've read things online. Everyone's like, oh, the Avs got to adjust. They got to pack it in. They got to do this and that. Like, we're not going to adjust our entire game plan, like, based on if Gorgie's playing well or not well, right? Like, he has a job to do. We have a job to do. Like, we're not changing. We'll tweak things based on what the Jets are doing and what we feel are important, but we're not going to change it for someone in our lineup, right? Like, if Gorgie couldn't do the job, then we'll put the next guy in and see if he can. Like, this isn't a time when you play 82 games all year and you've had success and you've won 50 games, so all of a sudden just change what you do because of one player, right? Like people that say that online or whatever, like, to me, is just, it's not realistic. And we know he can do it. He led the league in wins this year. So that's what we go with. We help him try and be better, give him a clearer picture on what we're going to do, and our D has to tighten up and our team has to tighten up in front of him to make sure we're not giving up the scoring chances that we did. Like, some of the games where he gets criticized, I can go through those goals against and say, how are you going to blame him, Would I like to see him come up with a couple saves here and there? Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're all earned goals or things that we could have done better in front of them, right? And when we play better and better as we did through the second and third period on the defensive side, he's making the saves he's supposed to make. So it's not It's not an individual game. This is a team game, and I think our guys understand that. I think Gorgie understands that. We're still going to push to be better as individuals and as a team, but we'll also win and lose as a team. That's just the way it is.
Thank you, Jared.
Yep. Thank you.